Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
And welcome to the Spark and Sparkle Show. I am excited to welcome you all in the audience and you, Fredericke, for the first show in a series where we talk about the innovative ideas and remarkable people that I continue to run into. And the point of today is for us to experience Fredericke Grillitz and her product line for the sake of inspiring ourselves and recognizing our own brilliance and even being able to make it much more aware, ourselves more aware of it. So I am excited that you all are here. And what I'd like to invite everyone in the audience to do from the start is to write in the comments stream where you're hanging out from. This is a very interactive medium. And so the feeling for the Spark and Sparkle show is for all of us to be together in this conversation. And so if you get questions or you have comments that you want to bring to us, I am going to be able to see them using this comment tracker, and we'll be able to interact. The other thing I want to let you know is that at the end of this show, which is about a half an hour long, unless we get carried away, we're going to open it up to any of you who would like to join us in what we call the green room, excuse me, after the camera is turned off and it's no longer broadcasting. So be on the lookout for the link so you can hop in and join us. It's so much fun. It's a party, okay? So I wanted to just give a quick note about myself. I'm Robin Holland, your Hangout host, and I work with business owners to help them spark new magic in their business, especially if it's gotten kind of like, oh, I got to do something. I've been there. I've been in other people's companies and also our software development company, and I have some secrets for how to spark up your business and make it a lot more fun and profitable. So, but today we're going to focus on Fredericke Grillitz and her product, and I hope I'm saying your name right because I meant to ask you, Fredericke. And so I'm going to move it over, and you're on frame now. Welcome, Fredericke. Where are you hanging out from with us?
I'm in Los Angeles, and thank you, Robin, for inviting me, and hello to everybody who is following us. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I'm in Los Angeles.
Yeah, and we're super excited to be able to connect with you. And I see Deb Shapiro, who introduced you and me, is hanging out with us. She's in San Francisco, so welcome, Deb. So what I would like to do is just, I have all these questions and we don't have that much time, so I want to just dive into our conversation. So Fredericke, can you tell us, before you show us your product, which I love seeing the demonstration, can you share with us how you got into this? How did you reach this point where you have a product line that you're working with in an online way?
I'm so glad that you asked this question, because unless I would like to take a little bit of time to explain where I come from, because otherwise one will not understand why I ended up where I am, right? How the product actually came about. And in order to do that, I have to say it was really a lifelong journey. It's not something that I said, okay, one morning I woke up and I said, oh, let me create another shade of brown powder or, another foundation. It is not how it happened. It was completely organically through life experiences. And it's so interesting. And I call it was a magical tour, because the way I was pushed along from one venture to the next and opportunity to the next is quite magical, and actually one cannot make it up. So all started when I was, besides that I loved red lipstick, and from my mom, the red lipstick and the high heels from her, that's I'm sure every girl does, or many do. With 14 or 15, I had a very clear wish that I thought, oh, I would like to beautify women. That was a very clear wish. Yeah, I would like to beautify women, but I did not know how specifically. I just saw the woman as a complete, as a total, including hair, skin, and clothing. So as a total, I wanted to do that first. That was my original wish. So how do you get there? I come from a very small town, 250,000 people, basically almost like a farm girl, and having this big wish in my mind, and how do you go about, right? So,
and where was that? Where was that town?
South of Austria.
Oh, south of Austria, okay.
It was actually south of Graz even, and then, so I started all there. And then I said, okay, so I started actually with 3, 4 things, and one morphed into the next. And all the steps are quite important for me personally. So they formed me and gave me the tools so I could actually end up with that product. So I started actually to model. That was my beginning. So I thought, okay, what can I do to step into that whole atmosphere of fashion and beauty? So I did a little bit runway, I did a little bit fashion shoot. I discovered very quickly this was not my value. Yeah. A, I was a little bit too shy. B, it bored me right away. It was too much, too limited, too much time consuming for me to be, you know, I'm not so comfortable in front of the camera. So I found that out right there, which was a very important component. From there, and all of this development almost happened at the same time. From there, but because I did the runway, it did lead to certain exposure. And then there were certain businessmen, and they approached me and said, I think you have style. I would like to hire you to be the creative head of my atelier. So he handed me an atelier so I could create my collection. He was totally inspired and saw something, who knows what, but he saw something. He handed me over atelier, a budget, and I also became the the creative consultant for his boutique. Yeah, he was a very wealthy man, and all wealthy men tried to create boutiques at that time. Yeah. So that, on the other hand, so that was like, I was a kid in a candy store, of course, as you can imagine, no financial restraints and support financially. But what that really did, it opened up the world for me. That's where I first came in touch with the real big dance in Paris and in Milan. Yeah, that's where I met Helmut Lang, because I actually came in as first a model. I did this a little bit nearby. Second, then I started to do my collection, and but it was still fashion, yeah? Yeah. So, I met Helmut Lang, who became a lovely friend at that time. He opened his fabric store for me. I could use his fabrics, and so so that was that kind of experience. So I understood a production, form, shape, but we are still in the body, yeah? So, but I played around there, but I got a very good understanding. I met the so-called international fashion industry at that time. And
wow. So how old were you then? Were you in your 20s?
Yeah, I was in my 20s, exactly. And then comes the kicker. So that was one thing. And then one day, and that was, again, almost simultaneously, I'm walking down the street, and the gentleman approaches me, stops me, and says, excuse me, can I introduce myself? And he did. He said, I'm a world-renowned photographer in art photography, and I just won the world prize for Nikon in Japan, and I'm settling in this town, and I would like to reach out to commercial photography and fashion photography, and I need somebody like you in my studio to help me to produce the shoots.
And did he know who you were?
He had no idea. He saw me. Apparently, he watched me, and he saw me the way I was dressed and whatever. Again, I had my child with me because I was a young mom. And so anyway, so he gave me right away a job. We started working the week after. Wow. So that's where I got introduced now into photography, where light and dark becomes a real, it's the main component, right? Mm-hmm. So still working on a very overall overall working, like clothing. And you see, that was also the time when the models still did their own hair, their own makeup. It was in the very beginning of, before that whole, you know, the whole craziness of the 80s exploded, yeah. So I was just on the brink. I moved in I had the perfect timing. And I think the things went so fast to really get me along and get me into it. So here I was doing this, and out of that, when I did productions over production and production, then actually the interest came. I said, oh, I like the face. Everything is in the face. I would like now to really zoom in and do something professionally. And I would like to do makeup, and how do I learn that? Because the modeling, I understood, is not my thing, as I already explained. The collection, due to my connections, I saw what it takes. It's massive. If you want to create and be a designer, it is massive. You write your life away, it is. And I did not want to do that. I wanted to be part of something and have developed a skill and a profession, but I did not want to be completely absorbed in it. Yeah, my first job was to be a mom. Yeah, so it had to blend together, and it had to be managed with those. So I understood the collection for me. No, this is not the venue I want to go. So now I said, okay, but makeup, that is so beautiful, inspirational for me. I want to be part of that. And it was also just the beginning where makeup artists in the fashion industry actually started to get to life. There was no makeup artist before, because the models did their own makeup, their own hair, and even brought their own accessories.
Wow.
It was just that time. So through my work with this beautiful gentleman, we were very successful right away. I came also in touch with other photographers, because they heard about me and they said, oh, I need now also. You could see the result once you looked at the picture, if somebody did it professionally. So now the whole industry started to evolve. Of course, in Paris, in Milan, it was already kicking, but in the smaller cities around, it was not. Yeah. So in Austria, I was one of the first. I even had to declare it. You know, they had no idea about the profession. I had to invent the profession. Yeah.
So you invented the profession in Austria.
Yeah, they have no idea when I declared my taxes what I'm doing. So having said that. So now I come, and then I'm sitting in, and now now we are very, very quickly, and I move quickly here because I have many stories, but I don't want to bore your audience too much. But once I was clear that I would like to learn makeup professionally, I was sitting at home in my kitchen table with my very best friend, Roland Peters, who is now actually living in San Francisco, is a very successful businessman himself. And I said, how do I do that? Because there is no school. You cannot learn it in a school. It's all life experience.
Learning to be a makeup artist, or learning to create?
To be a makeup artist where I wanted to play in that fashion circle, that small arena, you cannot learn it. You must go in and must do it, and connections. Or you must connect with that crowd, with that form of expertise and technique. You cannot learn it in a makeup school, and you cannot learn it in the movie schools either. It's a completely different venue.
Wow. So you just have to learn it by doing, and you take your chances, and it's...
Yeah, the client has to take the chances, right? But here I am, and he said, listen, I just come back from Mykonos, and you know, my very best friend is the leading makeup artist in the fashion industry. And I called him. He called him right there. And he said, yeah, I teach her $100 an hour. Next week I'm in Amsterdam. If she's there, I give her 1 week. I can teach her. So I took out a small loan because it was quite a lot of money. I bought a ticket to Amsterdam, and I showed up there. And he was amazing. He was the Kevin Aucoin of that time. He spoke 5 languages in talking and writing. He could transform a face, a human face, a woman's face, into a tiger without using hair or any other material, but he worked only with light and dark.
Wow.
He started teaching me. The first sentence he said, if you do makeup, you think in black and white. Do not think in color. a good makeup artist does not think in color. So that was, of course, and that was the technique he generously shared with me, bestowed upon me, trained me in, and when I was leaving him, I was fit to work professionally, internationally. I had a very high level.
Was that 6 months, a year? How long?
No. He gave me private teachings. He taught me every day 5 hours personally, and then 5 hours I had to do by myself. So it was a 10-hour day, and it was 1 week.
Wow.
That's all it took, because then you have to make it your own. Then you start running in circles, yeah. But when we parted, he said something to me. So the thing I remember, first he said, if you are a makeup artist, a good makeup artist, do not think in color. That stuck with me forever. So everything I do is based on his principle.
Including your logo.
He shared it with me. I was lucky. And then the second was when I left him, he said, and by the way, I would like to point out to you, you have a real talent for natural makeup, which I completely forgot. I heard it, I completely forgot about it. And only once I was already doing my makeup line, I was already 2 years into, after I created my line, I remembered it.
Wow.
Wow, he actually saw that. And I was so sad, I didn't ask him why. It was, sometimes you hear something and you just, you're in your certain frame of mind and you just move on. You don't have a follow-up question, yeah. I wish I would have asked him why, but anyway, regardless. He saw that, and I remembered it only much later. I completely forgot about it.
Wow.
And then, in a nutshell, I was still in Austria, and then I immediately was signed to an agency because, as I said, that was the time when the fashion industry exploded. Simultaneously, again, I know it sounds so cliche and stupid, but it really happened like that. Monica Tausendsasser worked in Paris. She moved back to Vienna, and she opened a makeup agency, signed me right away because due to his technique, I was pretty competitive and good. And the rest is history. From there on, I worked. I used my skill, I trained my skill, I perfected it, I played, production. And then, in the end, in '89, I landed in Los Angeles. Because my son and me, we both agreed we have something to do here. We were so inspired by America, especially by California, that I basically gave everything up, and I had 2 suitcases, and I landed on LAX. And but I had a visa. I had my working visa, and I had a contract with a makeup agency. So I didn't come blank. Right.
So you came here to do makeup for
a makeup agency in Los Angeles, and the makeup agency is called Celestine Cloutier, which was still to this day one of the world famous makeup agencies, yeah. And Angelika Schubert, she was also, anyway, I was here on vacation, and I went to her agency. She saw my book, my portfolio. She said, I sign you if you get the papers. I got the papers, I had the contract, I landed LAX on January the 18th in 1989. And from there on, ever since, I was working until I decided to create my makeup line.
So I want to stop you at this moment and see if we can bring together what is your makeup line with what you did in terms of the black and white concept. Because we're at 12:19, and I want people to see this, how this black and white thing worked in your line. It works in your line. Will you share that with us?
Absolutely. So what it means in the real world is you work with the shading. So even if you have a red lipstick, or let's say you draw a red line, or whatever line you use in your face, or yeah, of course, we're talking about the face. I'm sure my friend Debra, she's a painter. She knows, you know, she can transfer this to her paintings or everywhere. You always you blend it out from a very dark point to a light point. You see, that's what it means. So you create depth. You highlight things and dark. So that's what it means. So if you think in black and white, you're not distracted by the color. You are basically seeing only the shading, because then you formulate the face. Like, for example, once we come to my products themselves, I can explain very well how it works, because very subtle way.
Can you show us now?
Pardon me?
Can you show us now?
I can. So what that means is I basically work with light and dark, right? So what I wanted to do, the reason I am actually inspired, or what inspired me to create a makeup line, I did not want to create a conventional makeup line, because A, I don't like makeup, B, I don't wear makeup, and I don't think it looks good. It looks cool on the runways when we did a photo shoot, but I don't think anybody in broad daylight, you know, looks good with the cake, and, you know, it doesn't look good. At least it's not my view of beauty. I always had a very translucent, luminous point of view. And also the models liked me, because I started to work, of course, even in, you know, when I still worked for the industry, I always applied, made it look, I defined and created that point of view, and I defined it more and more and more. That was my signature. I was very good in recreating beautiful skin.
Yes. So can you show us?
Yes. So what I did, so I have here, this is my famous luminous cream. I don't know if you can see it. It's an aloe vera. It's a gel in a aloe vera based, and it has crushed pearls in it. You have it there, right?
I have it too, but they don't see me right now. But I'll make it.
What I do is I basically apply it, you know, on the. Here you see here on the cheek, on the arch of the cheek, yeah?
Yeah.
Because what it does, it illuminates, it starts to lift up the face, it brings out the cheekbones, it softens the little crow feet, and this is the first step. So here I put.
Can I stop you for a second, because I had this question when we met. This is the first thing you do for the look of your makeup. This is not skincare. This is a way that we work to use that, as Debra, who's this amazing painter, helped me understand. This is the canvas that we're working with,
exactly.
Right? And so the idea is to start with this cream that you have and that I have, and to illuminate this area first, and then what?
Okay, so here's the beginning. I see the face as a canvas, and I have two criteria that for any product that I use on myself. It has to feel good, and it has to look good. If it doesn't look good, I don't want it, regardless what, shoes, clothes, makeup, I don't care. If it doesn't feel good, I don't want it either. So those were the basic criteria. So feel good and look good. So the feeling good component, this is why I incorporated it in such a beautiful texture, which is moisturizing, nourishing, protecting, illuminating. All my products are basically light infused. They all have the same creaminess, the moisturizing effect, but that is a sidekick. Yeah,
it's a wonderful sidekick, I can tell you.
Exactly, and that's why it's so very successful, because it feels good and it looks good. And then, so this is first, so you do that. Then, as the next step, I have this beautiful base, one color for all skin tones. Yes.
And that is the next surprise in this line is
exactly one color for all skin tones. And why? Like, for example, I am only enhancing your own beauty. My goal is not to recreate here a dragon. My goal is to, I see beauty, a beautiful face naked. And all I want to do is polish it and bring it to light. This is really the basic of the inspiration, how I see beauty and how I would like to share it. And anything else I couldn't do. I could not sell you a powder if my life depended on it. So the next one is now. And why does it work on every skin tone? Like, that would be a logical question.
Yeah.
The reason why it works is, like, for example, if you see a stone, right, and the stone is dry, it looks rather dull, nothing. But once you put light on it, oil or water, reflection, you bring all the textures to life. And this is what I do with my makeup. So I walked the very fine line of just being enough, but not too much. And nobody else has conquered that niche. Most of the moisturizing things are too heavy, makeup, or they're not there at all. And neither one works. So then, basically, by using, it has a hint of tint in it. You see that, right?
Yes.
And I use the hint of tint and I apply it, massage it really nicely in, all over. Almost like you can, it's like skincare. It feels like skincare, but it's makeup.
Yes.
Okay. So now you basically, once I'm done with this, I see always the canvas as prepared. And then you can actually start doing a little bit of makeup, if you like. Yeah? And the way you do it, and I'm having it right here. What a surprise. Surprise, surprise, buddy. So then, like, if you would have then unevenness, you know, and a little blemishes, you would then use a concealer and do a little here, a little here. You can basically then even out all your spots and blemishes or whatever you want to hide, and it will still not look like makeup because you have that amazing glowing base, and you do not need a full film of coverage. You can just be very gentle with yourself, yeah, be kind, you know. So, and then the last, not least, and the most important for me before it's done, it's for me the blush, the cream blush. And the blush would go on the apple of the cheek, exactly there. So we retexture the skin, we actually lift it up even more, and we basically retexture the cheek. So you have that look of being refreshed after jogging, after a workout. And this is this natural, effortlessly healthy looking texture, the glow, the illuminate, you know, that doesn't get in the way with your own beauty, but rather brings it out.
Right, and that's also why you recommend that people kind of do what you just did in, what was that, 2 minutes, when they are arriving at an airport, having been in an airplane for 10 hours.
Exactly.
Looks great.
Easy, easy. I mean, it cannot be done easier. And then, of course, once you have that as a base, that glowing, beautiful, dewy texture, showing your own skin healthy, radiant, useful, sexy, which is very, very apropos, very fashionable, if I may say so, very timely, easy to do. It's for the women who, you know, are very busy and involved in their life, but to need to look good, you need something, but you don't want to kill it either. You know, you don't want to look, because I think heavy makeup, most of the people look older, and it makes them a little dragged down. But okay, that's, you know, whatever. Everybody has it. That's my point of view, is illuminating, refreshing, healthy on all aspects. And it has to be easy. And it has to look good. If it doesn't look good, I'm not doing it.
Yeah. So you have, do you have the full spectrum of products like eyeshadow and all those things, or is it this core of these products that you have?
When I see my clients first, I don't want to overwhelm them either. So I also find out what do they do in their daily life, and then I show them how to replace it and bring it up to date. As a basic, I would say I have these 4 amazing products that I call the Fabulous 4, which is the lip art kisses. I didn't do this now. One can, you know, one can read it online. But all the products I'm having are light infused. This is the most important thing. So
that's what I did, I think. I have the 4 right here, right?
Exactly. So you do the luminous cream, you do the base, you do a little bit concealer, you do the blush. This is your basic thing. Once you have done this in 1 minute, you look good.
Yes, and then you can enhance your eyes.
Exactly. And then you can take it to the sky's the limit. You can go cat eye and crazy, the red carpet, or you can do just enhancement of a little mascara, a little bit of a beautiful black pencil, you know, choose a lip color to your liking. You can then play. Then you know, like the diamonds, the rubies, you play with it, you know, just which color today. But everything will look good if you have a base like that.
That's awesome.
And nothing will look good if, regardless, it doesn't matter what color you use, if you have a dull complexion, in my opinion, humble opinion, nothing looks good.
So I am just looking over here at comments. I have, I think my comment tracker has failed me. So I'm going to go and see if there are some comments that I have missed that have been coming in. Here's one from Elaine Nieberding. I love Fredericke Grillitz's passion and curiosity to do and learn and create her own opportunities. She asks, this was a little while back, how does she use the light and dark concept using her own makeup line? What's the general approach? So it's not picking up the YouTube comments, unfortunately.
Explain that, yeah?
Yeah, sometimes our tech just works and sometimes it doesn't. Anyway, so we're at the half hour.
Oh, that went fast.
See, it just goes so fast when you're telling the awesome story, and I love your product. So I personally am giving a shout out that this is a really great way to go for especially if you're busy and if you're tired of having what I was finding was just putting all this stuff on and feeling like, ugh.
Yeah, I would like to conclude with one thing because I'm very grateful to be in America and I learned everything here. It gave me, you know, I merged from Europe to the United States and I got all my professional training then here. It really gave me a platform to really sharpen my skills. So I actually can produce the line. And I have a very, very small story, and we can end it there, so people have an understanding, you know, how we actually play. When I was arriving in Los Angeles with 2 suitcases, as I said, I had a visa, I had my contract. My agency promised me to pick me up, right? And I didn't know Los Angeles besides having spent here 10 days before. That was it. So they promised me to pick me up, and of course, there was no mobile phone, there was no GPS. It was long before the time of that. So nobody showed up, so I called them. They said, oh, honey, we're so sorry, we are swamped, we cannot pick you up. Here's what you do. You go and get a rent-a-car, take your taxi to your rent-a-car, and tomorrow, by the way, tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., do you have something to write? She said, I mean, I was in the airport, like, you know, jet-lagged and whatever. She said, by the way, write down the address tomorrow, 9 a.m., you have a photo shoot with Heather Locklear, and you better be there at 9 a.m. And here is the address. It was North Spalding. I will never forget it. So here I was, landing at 7 p.m. at LAX. It was completely thrown into the whole experience of a completely different dimension that America has. It's bigger and sharper and quicker and faster. And it's like you swim or you sink. It's really, and I embraced it, and to this day, I could have not done what I do now out of Europe.
Yes, and that's because in Europe, there's not that mentality that here you go, here's your canvas, the canvas of you can make a business over here, but you have to sink or swim.
No, it's there. Nobody. First of all, they would have picked me up. They would have never canceled the shoot the next day. You know, everybody is much more time, much more relaxed. They drink their beer over lunch. You know, but this year is a really, and I actually love it. I came to life here. I was like, you become like a soldier. You start to function under all circumstances. You produce for the higher good of all. You have one common goal. You get 20 people together, and everybody's skills are perfect for that particular project. And everybody runs to the same goal, and everybody produces, because things always go wrong, and you just produce under all circumstances. And once you do this for 20 years, it makes you fit for life. You see, it's a life experience. You learn something on such a deep, much deeper level that you can apply in your daily life. Yeah, I would not be the person I am on no level without that. And for that, again, I'm very grateful. I had a great teacher and then the great platform, and so I better make something good out of it, right? It's almost a responsibility.
Well, you kept looking and kept finding the next thing would present itself.
Yes.
And then you would say yes to that, step into that, and whether it was over in Europe, which gave you such a wonderful platform, yes, over here, where then suddenly you were, okay, let's go.
I graduated here, you know, I kind of, you know, went to university here, and I did, you know, I graduated high school over there. So basically, you can.
That's right. Well, so how can people connect with you?
Thank you for asking. Yes. Well, I have a website, an e-commerce website, iqbeauty.com.
Mm-hmm.
I would encourage anybody who is interested in meeting with me. I will probably come back to the Bay Area in, I think in June, or the latest in September, the end of September. And I do still give personal consultations. They are for free. And they can meet me. I can show it hands-on to them. In order to do that, they would need to contact me, send me their email, and they can find all the information on my website. Another way to connect with me, of course, is Facebook.
Mm-hmm. So just go to iqbeauty.com on Facebook. And
no, it's actually IQ Beauty, of course. It's my whole makeup line. iqbeauty.com is my e-commerce website.
Okay, okay. And also you are on G+. They can go straight there and find you as well. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so I am going to also give a shout out that if anybody is out there wanting to do a consultation about what's going on in your business, to feel free to email me at robincreates@gmail.com. I too do a free consultation, and we'll look at what's happening in your business and what's missing from the fun of your business and the rewards of your business, that we may be able to create solutions around that. Now, what I'm going to do, as promised, is put this link up in the comment stream so that anybody who wants to join us can. So hang on for a minute while I do that. And all you do is get into Google Plus and put this link in, and you will be able to join us. So, do you have a parting word? I think you just gave us your parting word, Fredericke.
I think in general, you know, it's like, I would say the way it's like less is more when it comes to makeup, and then enjoy life.
Yes, yes, and you're a great example of that. So thank you so much.
Yeah, one more thing, part of making my line practical and quick and easy is one shouldn't spend more than 2 minutes on makeup. If you spend more time, it's a waste of time. It can be taught quicker. There is a solution to that. And then go out and find a cure for cancer. Make something useful of your life. It cannot be makeup. Makeup cannot be your life. I know it sounds weird from somebody who did that, but that's really how I live it and how I see it. I just want to share and try to help make people's life easier, declutter it, just make it easier. That you find a platform where you feel really comfortable and then go out and play.
So your makeup is for the people who are changing the world so that they don't waste their time doing that mundane thing. They look like $1 million.
Exactly. If you're Kim Kardashian and this is your life story, to be, you know, in front of a mirror and a selfie 24/7, then that's a different story.
Okay.
It would be too quick, because what would she do with the other time?
Exactly. Okay. Well, I'm going to end the broadcast here, and then people, please feel free to jump in and meet with us and talk off camera. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you, all of you who are watching this via replay, and the comment stream continues there as well. So thanks, everyone. Thank you, Fredericke, and everyone who helped us. And
thank you, everybody. Say hi. Have a wonderful day.
Yes. Okay. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.